Hi, I'm Dempsey Palat, and this week I'm reviewing... Now before we start off, as always, I just want to take a quick second to remind you guys to make sure you hit that like button if you like today's video, and if you're new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button as well for more new movie-related content weekly. But, without further ado, let's jump into today's film. Moffie was directed by Oliver Hermanus, and it's based on the novel of the same name written by Andre Carl Vandermeer. Set in South Africa in the 1980s during apartheid, the film follows a young man, played by Luke Brummer, who begins to come to terms with his sexuality after he gets drafted into the military to fight the war at the country's border. This film was incredible, and honestly, the best way I could probably describe it is a perfect mix between Stanley Kubrick's, or at least the first half of Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, and Moonlight. In addition to capturing the brutality of war, it also does a fine job at exploring the fear that follows after you realize you may be different from everyone else. At a time in his life when he should be celebrating who he's becoming, because of the culture of his country, our main character Nick is constantly living in fear. You see, the word Moffie is the South African slang term used to describe a gay man, and while it is just a word, being designated one is a seal of death in its own way. I like the way in which the film really conditions the audience to be just as fearful of Nick being outed as, we also are of the ongoing war and his well-being. The tension is the same because the odds of surviving are the same. Throughout the film, there are also these constant reminders for soldiers to watch where they step because of enemy landmines, and I like that the same way everyone has to look out literally, Nick also has to look out figuratively to not get caught. And I have to hand it to director Oliver Hermanus, because regardless of whether or not you identify with Nick or any of the problems that he experiences in this film, he does a fine job at making you feel that same pressure that he's constantly under. In fact, there's this brilliant sequence, a flashback, that will simultaneously have you on the edge of your seat while showing you why Nick has always been afraid to be himself. Without giving too much away, the entire thing is a one-shot roller coaster of emotion, and one of the true highlights of the film. And of course, Luke Brummer, who plays Nick, is equally responsible for making us feel that anxiety. What I particularly like about his performance is the way in which he captures both Nick's initial optimism and his slow realization that all the cruelty, judgment, and pain that war employs exists in the real world too. Now, as much as I liked this film, there was just one problem I had with it, and at first I honestly thought it was something that was in the book, but I later on got confirmation that it wasn't, so I have to hold the film accountable, and that is the fact that there is one scene in this that is ripped straight from Moonlight. Now, obviously, I'm not going to spoil it. One, because it is still a pretty important scene, and two, because it carries a lot of the same weight that the same scene does in Moonlight. But just know that if you've seen Moonlight and you go on to see this film, that there will come a point in time where you'll say, hey, I think I've seen this before. And I know I also compared this film to Moonlight early on because, well, they have very similar tones, and they even touch on some of the same themes, but to have the same exact scene, come on. Other than that, though, I have to say that this film is pretty close to perfect, in my opinion. Beautifully shot, beautifully acted, and just an overall really beautiful story about the cost of the loss of innocence. And for that, I'm going to give this film 4.5 stars.
I'm not like you.
Now, I was actually fortunate enough to speak with the film's director, Oliver Hermanus, and if you want to check out the full interview, I'll put the link down below in the description box, and hopefully you enjoy it just as much as I hope you enjoyed this review. That being said, though, I do want to thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to view this video. It really does mean the world to me. And once again, if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button as well for more new movie-related content weekly. Now, if you happen to see this movie, if you loved it, if you hated it, let me know what you thought about it down below in the comment section. I look forward to reading and responding to all of your comments as always. But that's pretty much all the time that I have for you guys today. Be on the lookout for more new content shortly. And I guess, until next time, my name's Dempsey Palat. Take care.